Alright guys, so today's video is going to be about H2O 2020. It's currently the 10th of September, and as you may know if you're in the H2O Facebook group or you've seen online, there's a lot of controversy going into this event just because there is a large discussion about what is going to happen with the law enforcement this year. So in past years, H2O, Coastal Highway in Ocean City, Maryland has pretty much just been special event zone. 2 years ago, it was pretty much free will, do whatever you want. They can pull you over, give you a fine, whatever. Last year, the mayor, he tried to get fines bumped way up, and it got denied. And doing a burnout, doing a drift through the intersection didn't really cause much. You could get a fine up to, I think it was $80, and then they would also write you a ticket for your car having camber and being too low and yada yada yada. But this year, after last year's 2019 H2O, which isn't even, H2O anymore, it's H2, no I, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. This year, things are changing a little bit. The mayor is sick of everybody's shit, so he's really put his foot down, and I guess a lot of people in the community are quite sick of the raucous behavior. So they have gotten together this year and put some more firm steps in place to try to put a stop to all of the behavior, the burnouts, the large crowds on the side of the streets, the drinking, everything. So as of 7/24/20, Ocean City MD Coast Dispatch posted a nice article about the changes for this year. So I'm just going to go through them, one by one, and kind of discuss what we have in store for ourselves this year, since everybody's still going down, and COVID or not, more laws or not, people are still going to send it, and we're expecting you to. So besides just the general special event zone with bigger fines for speeding, street racing, all the stuff that really isn't possible on the strip when it's jam-packed with hundreds of cars, they have introduced some new things this year, which I'm sure everybody is super excited about, since it will affect every single person there. So the minor things, maybe not so minor, is going to be adding speed bumps around the town. So I'm sure there's going to be probably like 20 on Baltimore Ave. Last year there was a huge burnout pit around, I think it was 13th Street in Baltimore, and I'm sure they're just going to have that place just littered with speed bumps. And they are also movable, so if another area becomes a trouble spot, they're just going to move them right over there. So we're going to have to really stay on our toes this year. But the other thing is, they said they're going to be changing the traffic patterns around the town. So they didn't go too much into detail there, because that would spoil the surprise, but there's some rumors floating around on the H2O Facebook chat that it might be shut down, Coastal Highway might be shut down to one lane, where there's vehicle inspections. So if your car's too low, too much camber, they'll just pull you off in one of the closed lanes and tow you away. They've got more cops than ever coming to the event. They've got 30 tow companies signed up to all be on, I guess, from Monday to Sunday. So they're going to be out in force, ready to impound you at a drop of a hat. And in addition to that, if they tow you in and impound you, they're also going to have to tow you out. Last year, the year before, up until now, you could have your friend or you could go get your truck and trailer and go and get your car, but not this year. So instead of just paying one way to the impound lot and then you taking it out for free or paying your buddy $50, now you have to pay in and out, plus the impound fees. So, things are the costs are really gonna stack up this year. Also, in addition to that, if you're doing a burnout, if you're doing a skid, what they call gregarious driving, they're going to potentially impound you and arrest you for this exhibition driving, which, as you know, or if you don't know, if you've never been to H2O before, every single side street by the end of the weekend is just a burnout box. Every street, every stoplight, people are, egging people on, and they're doing burnouts. And then, they go onto the side street, everybody's on the balconies, drinking, yelling down, do a burnout. And, once the night falls, it's really quite chaotic in Ocean City if you've never been there before. So now I guess you can get arrested and impounded just for doing a burnout, which, in the past you could just be fined $70, $80 plus whatever else they wanted to get you for. So instead of maybe $80, it'll be, $500 to $1,000 to tow you to the impound lot. Then you got the impound fee, and then you have the tow fee from the tow company to bring you back out of the lot to wherever, your desired location is. So it's going to be, you're going to have to pay to play this year. There's no doubt about that. So the other big thing that, last year was they kind of hinted at was, there were a lot of crowds, the Big Banana March, as many people know, Saturday night. All those events ended up in just cops walking down the road, just tear gassing everybody and trying to break up the riot, if you will. And so this year they have some more statutes or ordinances, whatever. I'm no law major or lawyer or government official, so I'm not, take this with a grain of salt, but they're going to essentially deem people gathering on the side of the roads, egging people on as a riot instead of, just having fun, because, just as much as the driver is doing the burnout, we're telling them to do the burnout, so, in their eyes, we're at fault. We're not the person committing the action, but we're the one making them do the action. So that's very interesting, and that will be really something because, as you know, not everybody brings a car. Most people that bring a car, they have their buddy in there, they have two buddies, and at night, people tend to do some drinking, go out on the streets, look out for some burnouts, probably egg people on, and people are going to be, I guess, I don't know if they're just going to be fines or arrested for, egging people on, but it seems like they're really going to crack down not only on the drivers this year, but also the spectators. So I would highly recommend, if you don't already have a balcony, probably should invest in an Airbnb with balcony. It's probably too late, but at this point, here's a quote from the article. We have laws that can be applied and we're going to utilize them. One is unlawful assembly with a violent tendency. It's essentially a riot. So if you've been in the US recently, 2020, with the Black Lives Matter movement, there's been a lot of protests in pretty much every major city, most towns even, and sometimes it gets a little reckless and some people are doing some damage to businesses and stuff. And whether you're the one committing the offense or not, there's been people that have been arrested for rioting, a felony for rioting, and I guess now if you're at H2O and you're telling someone to do a burnout or not, and you're in the crowd and a cop comes up to you, they can either arrest you or fine you up to the level of a felony, which can be like $1,000 fine, or up to, I didn't look too far into it, but like up to 60 days, sorry, in jail. So they're really going to be trying to cash out this year and get as much bail money, give as many tickets, get as many impounds. So it's really going to be not necessarily a different vibe, but they're going to be going a lot harder than they did last year. So definitely something to be keeping your eye open for, especially if you're spectating and before you're, not necessarily invincible, but the only people that really bagged last year were people that, had open containers and stuff like that. So this year, you're going to really have to stay on your toes, and if you see, a ton of cops coming your way, I would bail ASAP. So this year is definitely going to be a little bit of a different dynamic than it has in the past, especially if they shut down Coastal to one lane, because, the whole event is really about cruising with the boys, 3 lanes deep, everybody's slammed, modified cars, and that's really like the whole vibe of it. But, as things have kind of progressed and gotten a little more aggressive with all the burnouts and stuff, the event has changed from your peaceful Howdy VW meet into pretty much a burnout box being the whole city. So it's going to be interesting this year for sure. I'm definitely going to be posting a lot of content about it. Hopefully not getting arrested from holding a camera and filming it, because essentially that's, egging them on with unlawful behavior, unlawful assembly with violent intent. Me filming would be unlawful assembly with violent intent, even if I wasn't saying anything. So we'll see how it all turns out, but should be an interesting year, and whether they like it or not, enthusiasts are still going to gather. COVID doesn't matter. Most of the people that age are not really the at-risk group, so people are really going to be going down there whether it's COVID or not. So we shall see what goes on, and hope to see you guys down there. So until then, see you there.